What's up guys, NepentheZ here and welcome back to another episode of The Road to Glory. As you guys can tell from the title, I bought Thierry Henry. I'm selling Thierry Henry again. You're probably laughing, but I want to talk to you guys a little bit about icons, icon flipping, why I bought Henry. You can see there the games played was 8, the goal scored was 5, the assist was 4. I'm going to show you how and where I played him. And then you'll see the gameplay with him as well. And I'm going to talk to you a bit once we get to the team as to why I bought him. If you guys are enjoying the content, though, a thumbs up would be very much appreciated. Let's try and smash 5,000 likes for today's Road to Glory episode. And, of course, for tomorrow and Tuesday, it's just going to be drafts, right? Because I'm going to be in France for a few days. And so it was either draft content or no content. And I know a lot of you guys use this as your, daily routine, so I wanted to bring some stuff and I just didn't have time really to play more games, sadly. So I bought Thierry Henry for 760k and he's currently selling for 765k. It says that the lowest one on Footbin is, but I was looking at him. Obviously the base icon pack has come out and I thought, I wonder if that has like a weird effect on base icons. You know, maybe it'll crash the market a little bit because these icons, people are going to be flooding these icons as untradables into their club. So maybe people are going to start selling the ones that they have. It didn't really have too much of an impact on it, but it made me just start looking at Henry because I want to obviously use Henry as an Arsenal fan with Ian Wright and now that Robert Pires that we got. That's why I bought Henry for the team. I started looking at his price on Friday night and he was selling for like 810, 815. One of them sold for like 822. And I thought, let me wait until Saturday, like lunchtime before I pick him up, because when I was looking at his past sales on Futbin, he was selling for as low as like 740, 750. And I think just in the daytime, he sells for a lot less because there's more supply. And in the nighttime, he goes up a bit. And I know people icon flip a lot, and that's how a lot of people make a lot of coins. And for me, I want to have 10 million coins for Team of the Year, and I want to get into icon flipping or icon trading or whatever, because it's the way that the big guys make a lot of money. It is risky. You could end up losing some coins, but you got to get involved one way or another. There's no point just looking at it. You've actually got to commit to it. And I thought when I saw this Henry pop up at 760, he was the cheapest by 20k at the time. The next one was 780, and then the next one was 790. So I thought to myself, this is a pretty good deal at 760 because I know that he sells for over 800 in the nighttime. Again, based on Futbin, if I look at the hourly graph from Thursday, during the evening, 8 p.m. he sold for 820. At 10 p.m. he sold for 810, and at 11 p.m. he sold for 810. During Friday, he went up as high as 842k is what he sold for, but was sitting around the 820 to 830 mark for a lot of the day and didn't really go as low as anything until late Friday night when he went down to 760, which I didn't even get. And then today, Saturday so far, it's 4 p.m. He's sold already at 810, 810, 800. So even though he's actually a little bit lower right now, I know he'll go back up because the icon market fluctuates so dramatically that this was kind of like, this allowed me a few things picking up this Henry. Number one, it made for a good video. We get to use Henry, Ian Wright, Theo Walcott coming on as a sub, and Robert Pires, a whole bunch of old Arsenal players all in the front line at the same time. It was a lot of fun. So it gave us some fun video content. Number two, we get to dip our toes in the water of, icon flipping. Worst case scenario, I'll sell this for 760, 770, 780 and lose, 15k on him in tax. But that's worst case scenario. Best case scenario, I actually managed to sell him. I know you see I've got him up for 3 days, 810 to 830. The reason why I've listed him up for 3 days is because I won't be playing FIFA for 3 days. So there's no point me listing him up for an hour and trying to relist him. I'll list him up for 3 days. If he becomes at any stage the cheapest Henry during that 3-day period, which I highly expect to happen, someone will buy him and I'll actually make somewhere from 10 to 30,000 coins profit, which would be very nice. Into the team that we put him into, guys. We changed the team around. We got Mascherano in. We changed the formation, so that got Politano onto full chem. That got Mascherano onto full chem. The only player after Henry went in off chem is Semedo on 7, which is brilliant. And I tell you something, guys, this Mascherano is hands down better than Guardiola. He is just fantastic. I'm so glad we did him as an SBC. We used him a bit when we first got him, and now he'll be in my team for the foreseeable future. He is just a real nice player. So Henry did really good for us. What do you have? Nine games, 5 goals, 4 assists, or 8 games, 5 goals, 4 assists. So 9 goal contributions in 8 games. And he replaced Vasquez, who was previously in that left wing spot on 7 chem. Vasquez is just not doing it. I don't know why, man. Like, Henry's stats suggest that Vasquez is generally a better player for an outside cam. But he just doesn't perform very well at all. I can't get the best out of him. Maybe it's because he's on 7 chemistry. Maybe it's because his finishing is so low and that's the stat that's really helping with scoring the goals. I don't know, but his dribbling is really good. His passing is good and his pace is good as well with perfect stamina. I don't know why I can't get more out of Vasquez than I currently am. But the way we set the team up now, obviously with everyone on chem, I can put pretty much anyone in this left wing spot that I want that is either a left winger or a right winger. So we can now go putting in Raja Nainggolan if we wanted to. Obviously, I don't know what I'd do with Guardiola. Nainggolan would be a decent cam, just not fast enough. We could put in Theo Walcott over there on 7 chem. We can put in Hulk on there over 7 chem. We can work hard and get Trossard throughout next week and pop him in there on 7 chem and have a real high tier untradeable squad. We'd only have Ramos and De Gea if we put Trossard or Hulk or Walcott in there as tradable cards. But yeah, the rest of this team, guys, Robert Pires has been amazing for me. Absolutely amazing. And I haven't been force feeding him the ball. You guys will see in the gameplay clips that are to come with Henry and with Pires. We're not force feeding the ball. It's just natural gameplay. He just plays well. And his stats don't suggest that he should play so well or achieve so much. But I feel like because he's an icon, maybe he just has that, you know, what people would say is like hidden features or whatever. Maybe he just plays better than the stats suggest for no other reason than he is an icon. But in his 10 games, he's got 7 goals and 9 assists. So he has pulled his weight massively from that cam spot. And Ian Wright coming in with 57 and 17 and 43 is absolutely fantastic. So with the team as it is, by no means a meta team, you know, by absolutely no means a meta team. I went 14 and 3 this week, 14 and 3 last week, and 18 and 4 the week before that. And so I'm playing really good FIFA right now and really happy with how I'm playing without using the OP meta cards. No Mbappe's, Neymar's, Ronaldo's, or Messi's. No Pogba's or Kante's, no Allen's. Like, I don't have the guys that you would associate with the typical meta, and I'm still managing to get to 14 and 3. And it's motivated me enough to the point where next weekend now, when I won't be going away over the weekend, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to play all 30 games because I feel like I'm playing good enough FIFA to get Elite 3 as a bare minimum, potentially Elite 2. So I want to just give it a shot. I want to see how well I can do over the course of 30 games. My back line is fantastic. And then it's just finding the right balance of the attackers. And we'll see who we get from red player picks next week. You know, maybe they'll fit into the team. Maybe they won't. I don't know. And that's pretty much where we're at with the account now, guys. So, yeah, had a lot of fun with Pires, a lot of fun with Henry, a lot of fun with Wright. Walcott came on and did some good stuff for us as well. He might be on 100 goals now as well, or very close to it. Maybe 100 assists too. Yeah, 97 goals and 96 assists. And he's played probably the last 100 odd games as a sub. So he's doing really, really well as well. And then we've got a lot of options. And in terms of the base icon, obviously yesterday we did the base icon pack. We got Robert Pires. I want to do a couple more base icon packs over the next 28 days that is there. I'm not going to rush into them. I don't want to spend too many coins doing them. I want to do them as efficiently as possible. If that's doing grinding league SBCs for some 84s and 83s to put in there and hopefully packing some good stuff, or if that's waiting for the right SBCs that EA released to come along to get involved like that, or waiting for the market to fluctuate on Black Friday, pick up some good deals there. But the SBC right now is coming in at a whopping 600k, and I'm just not interested in it at that price right now. So we'll see how that goes. I'll do at least one guaranteed, even if that's at the back end. But that's where we're at with the account, guys. So, yeah, happy with where I've been playing. As I said, for tomorrow and Tuesday, it's just going to be a couple of drafts, very akin to Draft to Glory, for no other reason than I just don't have the time of day, right? It's either that as content or no content, because I just don't have the time. And I know you guys would prefer some content than no content. But yeah, that's where we're at with the squad, guys. That's why I bought Henry and now why I'm selling Henry. And let's get into the gameplay. All right, guys, as we get into the gameplay, all of our Foot Champs games to come and one Foot Rivals game, because sometimes you accidentally go into Foot Rivals instead of Foot Champs. And the comments are still coming from Friday's video. As you guys know, I recorded all of this on Saturday, even though this is Sunday's video. And then you'll get a draft tomorrow and Tuesday just whilst I'm away. And just as I am recording this, EA have released David Villa flashback SBC, or not flashback, sorry, end of era SBC. Looks to be a brilliant card. Yeah, it's another attacker, maybe one that we don't need, but because of the icons that I've got in Wright and Guardiola, and the fact that we've got that top left spot open where we just got rid of Thierry Henry, we could just change the formation up, get Politano up at 7chem as a right forward, get David Villa in there, and I think he would actually make a spectacular cam. A 4-star, great pace, good dribbling, little low on agility and balance, but his shooting and passing with the right chem style are so high tier that I think he will just be a monster in that role. Or I might switch to a 4-2-2-2 and start playing him and Wright up front together. I think that there'd be a hell of a lot of fun. So with that being said, as I say, got some comments still from Friday's video. First one is from Irish Pickle. Says, Nep, do you play a few games before you start foot champs? It depends. Not to warm up. Sometimes I do play a few games before foot champs just because I'm doing other things on the account. Like maybe I'm doing objectives or playing a draft for a video for the main channel, and then I'll head into champs. But I don't play to warm up or anything. Maybe I should. But also I feel like a lot of you guys, I get like fatigued with FIFA very quickly. You know, to play champs at any level, you have to be concentrated. To play champs at a top level, not that I'm saying I'm top level, but you know, at a high level, at gold 1, elite level, you have to be concentrated every game, and it just drains you mentally. So if I had to play 1 or 2 games to warm up, I'd already be draining myself mentally before going into a game that taxes you mentally even more. So sometimes I do, but not really on purpose, and never to warm up. Sloppy Sandwich says, hey Nep, I agree with what you said about adding more players into draft. However, surely it would decrease the chances of actually getting that player of the month Aubameyang you want to try due to how many cards are in the game. This would especially be bad during the end of the game when there's maybe an end of era David Villa or something. Hilarious that he mentioned that, because there is now a David Villa end of era card. I do get what you're saying. Like what your argument is that there would be so many cards and card types in the draft that you wouldn't get to try that player. But I would prefer, and I don't know why EA don't do this. Maybe they have, you know, the data as to why. Maybe they don't care about draft or what. I don't know. But I would prefer that the more good cards come in, just take the bad cards out. Like, nobody's gonna pick regular Thomas Muller, right? So just remove him and always make that Scream Thomas Muller, or a version of Thomas Muller that's better. You know, start at every time you add in a new card. So now that this David Villa goes in, just take out Inaki Williams, right? Okay, then you could make the argument, but what about people that want to try Inaki Williams and stuff? And what about people that don't always want to use super players? Well, I think the idea of draft is to always build a fun team to play with. And it's never fun when you're building like a sick draft team and then your goalkeepers are like a silver and a low rated gold, right? And you're just sitting there like, well, I've now been put at quite a big disadvantage because of how shooting works and how overpowered attackers are in this game, because I've got 2 terrible goalkeepers and can't really do anything with them. So I'm just going to have to suffer this one. Wouldn't it be better if all the goalkeepers that you had choices from were just the best that were available? So it still would reduce the chance of you getting exactly the player that you wanted to try. But I think it would be a positive and a big win for the game in general and for people in general that just never have a chance, man, like to play with these high-end cards. And not to say that you don't get the high-end cards now, you absolutely do. But I would like, you know, when Team of the Season was in drafts, when everything was in drafts back end of FIFA 19, it would have been amazing if every set that popped up was just loads of sick cards, because you could have just actually been able to build fun teams and had fun with players that you never got to use before. And that would have just been, you know, very, very interesting. And the same thing with the game this year, you know, as more and more cards get in, it would just be more and more fun to play with it. And now that David Villa is as an SBC, it will be really, really good if people are like, oh, let me jump in draft real quick, 15k coins, try and get him. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Probably you will, because it's a brand new card, so it will be one of those ones that pop up quite often. You get yourself that David Villa, try him for 4 games. Maybe you hate him and you're like, oh, I'm not doing that. I don't like him at all. That's still a win for EA, because you was undecided before. Most people that are undecided on a card that don't get to try it probably won't do it, and they still got your draft entry. And it's a win for EA if you do decide to do it, because you got the draft entry, and then that person's like, damn, that David Villa was sick. I have to get him in my team. Let me go and do that SBC right now. It's a big win for EA. I know you already agreed with what I said about adding more players to the draft anyway, but I just think it would be I just think it'd be really good. Just as I say, like a big positive win. Next comment is from Jay Smith. He says, Nep, what if to upgrade Trossard and Politano, and I assume in turn all of the league players that are going to come, you have to do gameplay objectives like icon swaps and get tokens to put in an SBC with an 85 or 87 rated Politano. The tokens could be a specific player. Like in-game, they'd be called Trossard upgrade token and vice versa. I feel like this is the best way to go around upgrading these cards. And you are right. Just not even something I had considered. In my mind, I was trying to understand what EA would potentially do for upgrading the cards. If it was gameplay oriented, I couldn't understand how they would actually just know whose card to upgrade, because we don't have that technology in FIFA 20. I know it's in other games. I know it's in Madden. I know it's in NBA. I know it's in Hockey Ultimate Team. I know it's in MLB The Show. But we don't have that specific mechanism in FIFA where one person can get an upgraded card based on objectives and one can't. It's just with cards like headliners and ones to watches where everybody's card gets upgraded at the same time based on real world performances or actions. So with that in mind, I was like, okay, so they're probably not going to do it through that method of gameplay. The other method of gameplay that I had predicted or assumed that they might use would be something like milestones. So setting milestone objectives, and at the end of the milestone, you get a better version of the card. So, you know, set for Politano, for example, play 100 games, score 100 goals, get 100 assists, score 30 headers, get 50 assists with your left foot, score 3 goals in the same game 10 times, you know, a whole bunch of stuff. And then once you've completed all of that, you get the better version of Politano. But then I thought they're probably not going to do that, because then you'd have 2 versions of Politano, and then for a further upgrade, a 3rd version of Politano. And I don't think they would want people to have an 87, an 89, and, for example, a 91 Politano in their account. I just don't think they'd want that. So I was like, okay, so I doubt they're going to do that. And so all I came back to was that they're probably just going to make you do it via SBCs. You know, submit Politano storyline as one segment, and then submit an 84, 85, and 86 rated squad plus informs in 3 other segments, and your return is a better version of Politano. And that would be a negative for 2 reasons. Number one, it would mean that you would lose your stats on your first owned Politano initially, and I think a lot of people get they get addicted to that, and they get kind of connected to the stats on their players. It's always nice to have a card that has a 1,000 games or 1,000 goals or a really good goal and assist contribution to game ratio. And so I thought that would be one negative to that, and the other negative to that would be obviously the fact that you're going to end up having to pay like 200,000 or 300,000 extra coins, or even 100,000 extra coins to upload, to upgrade Politano or Trossard or other league SBCs. So I thought that won't necessarily be a win either. So that's why I'm sitting here and I asked that new EA account, like, how and when are these cards going to be upgradable? Like, how are we going to get to upgrade them? I think it's important that we would know. And with what you said there, Jay Smith, with tokens akin to icon swaps, that would be probably the best way. You know, win 5 games in Rivals. Sadly, they'll do it in Rivals with Politano and 7 first owner Italians in your squad. Win 5 games in Rivals with Politano and 7 first owner Serie A players in your squad. Win 5 games in Rivals with Politano and a full first owner squad, like in Rivals. Score 20 goals in Rivals with Politano's storyline card, or whatever it's called now, the league player card. And that will unlock you tokens, and then you'll trade in the tokens. And again, they could just do a segment where one segment is Politano, the other segment is the tokens that you would earn through gameplay, and you get back a Politano. That, for me, would be the biggest win and would be a great way for EA to do it. The only downside to that is the fact that you would then lose the games, goals, and assists on your current 87 Politano or your 85 Trossard, and you would just get a fresh card. But I think people would be okay with that if that was the only downside to getting a much, much better card through playing the game. So yeah, I think it would be really good to see that, and I think I hope that's what EA's plan is, because if it's not, I don't know what they got in plan, but if that's not their plan, it could be a tough one. The next comment is from Dev. He says, I went on to Footbin, and when it showed Trossard as a FIFA 19 card, it was a headliner card, so it might work like that. I don't think it's going to. The reason why I don't think it's going to is because all EA did is they just assigned this card to the headliner card ID. That doesn't also necessarily mean that they've removed headliners. They might have just assigned headliners to a new card ID because they've changed the image and the graphics, obviously, of how this card works. So I don't think they're going to work like headliner cards. But maybe they are. Maybe they're literally headliners. And, you know, if Trossard... Well, the thing with Trossard is he'd need to get like 3 informs before he gets an upgrade. And with Politano, he'd need to get a fair few informs as well before it would push this headliner card up. So I don't know. I hope they don't work like headliners. Tying them to real world performances is not something that I would enjoy. That's for sure. Yeah, to my understanding, that's not how they're going to work. Rabbit's Foot says made 60k selling CSL bronzes this week. Only about 80 cards in total. BPM paying out nicely. And this is something that is important in terms of making coins for minimal to no effort. And it's actually something that Nick has done really, really well this year. He's sitting on 4 million coins right now, plus loads of stuff in his club and quite a good team. His account, although he's played like half the amount of games that I've played, you know, I've focused heavily on playing the games and playing drafts and stuff this year instead of trading and grinding bronze packs and stuff. Like last year, I'd put so much more time into bronze packs and upgrades and trading by this time in the game than I have this time this year. And it shows in the overall coin balance. And it goes back to what we was talking about yesterday with the time spent in game versus time spent in menus difference. You know, I'm millions of coins behind Nick now because I chose to play the game instead of play the menus. And it shouldn't be that much. I don't mind if the scales are tipped a little in one side's favor on any particular thing. It's just when it's constantly tipped heavily in one side's favor, it gets very frustrating over time, where you constantly get these objectives where you're like, oh man, I've put all this time into this for this. But this year I've been doing it because I want to complete all the collectibles. I want to have them all for the end of the game, of course. But yeah, what Nick did this week and what he's done over the last little while, and something that we've done a little bit here and there, but not really that much and not really done a great job with, is club stocking. And we talked about it a lot last year, right? Last year, I would always go out and buy loads of 82s and 81s and 83s and stuff. And people would be like, why are you buying those cards? And the answer was because there's no reason to buy the cards. And so when there's no reason to buy the cards, they crash in price. They're absolutely useless. There's no desire for them. They don't fit into SBCs, so there's no demand for them on the market. And it makes their price go down to an all-time low. Then as soon as EA release an SBC, they spike in price. You can make bank. And Nick made about 1.4 million coins from just selling his stocked account. And so it's very hard to stock silvers, I think, because they're very like they ping up and down in price on a day-to-day basis, sometimes for no reason, sometimes for SBC solutions on Footbin. But in terms of bronzes, you should always stock your club with bronze pack method, because like you said, from about 80 cards, you made 60k, and you would get 80 players from bronze packs in what, 25 packs? So you're looking at about 10,000 coins outlay to get 80 players. Now, that's not saying that you're going to get 80 CSL players, but on top of that, you make all the other bonuses from bronze pack method. And then club stocking your gold cards is super, super important as well. Having one of everything when it's worth nothing or worth the lowest price that it possibly can be will always pay good dividends. And this David Villa SBC again is going to show why. You need a 78 rated squad with a Japanese player, which means 78 and 77 rated gold, specifically right backs, left backs, right wings, left wings, are going to go through the roof. And it's time for me to cash out because my club right now is stacked with terms of golds. And you need an 82 rated squad with an inform, which means 82s and 81s. And again, I think the formation is 4-4-2. So right backs, right mids, left mids, they're just going to go through the roof. Like right backs, 81, 82 rated right backs are probably going to go up to like 5 or 6k, because people are just so silly that even though you only need 75 chemistry, they won't put a centre back at right back or a right mid at right back. They'll put a right back at right back. So instead of going and getting some random 83 rated right back or right mid, sorry, that's worth 1,200 coins, they'll go and get an 81 rated right back that's worth 4,000 coins just because they don't know any better. And so, yeah, keeping your club stocked to the brim of everything when it's worthless will always pay dividends long term down the road somewhere. And I suggest you guys do it. It's a bit of a weird spot to do it now with Black Friday coming up. It's not a good time to start stocking the club. because, well, with Black Friday coming up, it's a good time because the market goes down even lower. So now's not a good time because Black Friday is going to be coming, but also now's not a good time because the 85 market is through the roof. 85 and higher market is through the roof. All informs because of the Icon SBCs have gone through the roof. 82s are about to go bang expensive, and 81s alongside that as well because of this new THIERRY SBC. So the market's actually quite high right now. Probably a good time to sell. But that, guys, is going to be the end of the video. If you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like, rating, comment, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. But for now, guys, I'm out. Peace.